And we really outgrew it. We were at about 18, 20 people was too full. So we started to look around again, and we happened to meet a friend who owned a recording studio, so we moved over to that.
It was a really artistic kind of place, and it's almost like Awakenings, but way smaller. And I feel like God really drew me in, and a lot of that was because of the culture that Joseph had worked so hard to create. That's the place that he challenged me to do the VLI, the Vineyard Leadership Institute. That's the place that he challenged me to go and lead a session group in Long Beach, where I met Kaylin, who started to come to the church, and things like that.
Meeting there, and as soon as we moved in there, we grew to about 25, sometimes 30, and started to outgrow that. So then we once again needed to find a bigger space, and looked around, and through God just, opening doors. Kings Harbor is a big church, and they had this little cafe scene, separate room that we rented on Sunday nights. And that's when we moved into Kings Harbor's little Spanish cafe.
It was a really small church, and everyone was very close, and it was very easy to connect with everyone and get plugged in. Joseph was busy gearing up with Julie for the coffee house and Awakenings and where our next step would be.
Joseph trained me on the soundboard when we first started going to, well, not too long after being at Kings Harbor. So that's where I learned the ropes. The soundboard is a very important springboard for doing worship long term.
Ramon, he had been 2 or 3 times on mission trips with doing campus ministry, and had made some really close friends there. So he vision casted for us, and he brought a team of us, 5 of us went on our first trip there to meet with all of his friends to see if they wanted to start a VX. We spent 2 weeks and had just had an amazing trip there, and they were up for it. So that is how the whole movement in Ethiopia got started, through Ramon's heart and his vision and our visit. Fred has been a dear friend and a good mentor for many years, and so when we got this church to a pretty good size, we realized ordination was the next step that God had for us. So we invited Fred to come, and my mom, and Penny, Joseph's mom, and she spoke to the congregation about him and about what it's been like to be his mom, and you can just see her fighting back the tears, and it was a very special moment of things that she shared about her son.
Hi Joseph! I remember the first time we met at Kings Harbor, and I was working on my marketing degree, and you came right over and were super enthusiastic.
And just the way he worships before service. He doesn't worry about his sermon or his message. He just lets it go and just worships just like everybody else in the congregation. So I thought that was a pretty unique quality of Joseph, and that's one reason why I was drawn to VX.
And we were there for 2 years about, and then outgrew that. We then looked for several years for the right space for Awakenings, and
we looked for a good coffee house place for 4 years. I mean, I was looking everywhere for 4 years, and then we got it. And it was exciting. We were so excited when we found a place. We were like, yeah, and it lasted about 2 weeks. And then we had one of the worst years in our life, and we were trying to build the coffee house. And it was, we paid rent for a whole year and never met in there once because of the construction. And that was, it was miserable. And then we had our opening Sunday, it was Christmas Day, or first service. It was awesome.
to actually owning a coffee house. I thought that was just a really long journey that we all can share, and that has been just quite precious that we can do that.
Well, Joseph, he always acting and talking like he's drunk. But maybe that's because he drank with the Holy Spirit. He's very, friendly and loving and caring. He always welcomes, and he creates such an atmosphere. You are loved just where you are. So it's awesome.
He was more emotional about our wedding than we were. I think he probably shed more tears than we did. So it was, it was great to have him there.
Well, I met Joseph in the evening service. I was moved by the worship which you led. So my first impression was your beautiful and a great voice. And you got a funky move on the stage when you sing.
These are all snapshots in time that we thought were a very precious thing to give all of us an opportunity this morning to see Joseph's legacy and all the moments we captured on film to express what an amazing man he is and has been in this church, where he has led with tremendous vision and passion and sacrifice and faithfulness. I've seen how faithfully he served and just unbelievably long hours and never complains, and just he's truly has a servant's heart.
We have such a great model of how they've worked so hard to bring to pass the thing that God put on their hearts.
I have known Ramon now for 4 or 5 years and had the privilege of his friendship and of watching him grow in his stature in the Lord and his faithfulness. And Ramon is just a dear friend to me, and I could not have been picked a better person to transition this church to, as well as all the time that he and Joseph have spent together preparing him for this. So I am just so excited about Ramon coming in and taking us to the next place that God has for us. And I know he's the right man to do it, and I'm really blessed and excited to be under his leadership now.